or clear that it's a thing, it's sort of one already.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that just goes to the language thing, right? That's so. I mean, they use the word devil probably originally to represent either ego or selfing, but the tendency to then objectify it, like, right, that's what happened to ego. So it's not, so it's a little harder with a noun word, selfing, that has the ing, but they can probably do that with that too, right? Because a word is a noun. Yeah, like being,
Yeah.
right? Being is already being has a sense of like, I am a separate being, but it has the ing already on it. And that didn't work.
Yes. Exactly. Well, that's why they call it the being.
Yeah, exactly. And that can happen to a word is just kind of, fascinating.
It seems like nothing, but it's repeated so much, so then it leaves an impression, and then you sort of take the form of the impression. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, I like the term selfing because a lot of people believe they have an ego and they can lose an ego. But what's that feeling of the being the one who has one and loses one? That's not ego. Obviously, ego has been objectified. Another subject is being inferred. That there's another subject that could have or lose an ego. I'd rather question that more than the idea of ego, yeah?
Yes, thankfully.
They've objectified the ego, and now there's a subject that's either going to have it or lose it. That subject is suspect, yes? So it's like the way Dracula goes on vampire hunts. So because he can disguise himself the most there. So you start concentrating on an ego, but it's a sense of the one who has the ego is really what egoing means, really.
You guys lose his volume?
Hey, Paul, can you ever say, Paul, can you say spiriting?
What?
You know how you say there's the spirit and then there's spirit and ego supposedly or whatever, but do you ever say spiriting? Not the spirit, but I'm spiriting.
Well, being captures that pretty good, but you could do
I
that.
mean, being
We're not
is
saying
being,
there's a spirit and something else. We're
being
not
is,
saying,
yeah. I
yeah,
was
we're
going to say
not saying
being is everything.
spirit
Being
is
is
something.
everything that is and everything that isn't. Yeah. Or is like totality, everything that is and everything that isn't. I mean, that's it.
But then again, the word is just a word. We're trying to use it to
I
point
know,
to
but
something.
I could use telepathy and just do concepts, but I mean, on this plane, I got to speak words.
Yes, I just found something in my pants, $100 check.
Right. That's a good
Crumpled.
thing.
I
That's a
thought it
good,
was
that's a
from
good day.
grocery outlet, but no, that's pretty nice. There you go. Surprise, surprise. I don't know, whatever works for you, because you are that which you're trying to imply by saying being. Yeah, so whatever works for being concerning the word being, go ahead,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that's why that what it's pointing to can be described in a lot of ways because it's being described by the being. Yeah. So the being can describe itself thousands of ways. They'd all work, right?
Right.
You can call me Bo, you can call me Curly, you
Don't
can
call me
call
late for dinner.
yeah. Yeah, don't call me late for dinner. So but yeah, this is what if you want any questions, we can just explore it. And it's the importance is what it triggers, not the triggering itself, but what it triggers, yeah? Hopefully things that may have been fleeting and were like an aha that got washed away, something gets established in time, yeah? And so it becomes not only the truth, but an anchor in this little activity of dreaming, yes? You don't have far to go to be exactly where you are. So I feel the repetition of it allows the groove to get a little deeper, and then, yeah, what gets planted in it has more of a chance to grow. Yeah. Yeah. And really, the value in it isn't in itself, because the value is where it can seem to be forgotten. Yeah. So this sense of what we are has value where we seem to have forgotten it. So, yeah. So value here is, value is means something. So it becomes valuable because it changes how you're moving through time and space. Yeah. Not so much changing particulars, but the whole way you move, which is traveling lighter. So
Can I say something, Paul?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Hi, it's Jenny from Doesn't Matter Where. You know what? I've been reading Who Cares lately, and that whole intuition that comes in and just says, hey, this is happiness. That's what it is.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, well, again, yeah.
Without the commentary, without just, just being. That's all it is.
Yeah. The best thing I feel is to see what we're not. That's easy. And then you'll get an intimation of what you are. And in a weird way, where there seems to be time and distance, that's the closest you can get to what you are as what you are. An intimation. Yeah. It's like a perfume that what you're not puts out. Yeah.
Okay.
And then there's an intimation.
The
Why?
essence comes out.
Yes, intimation, and you can't describe it. You can't like total it up. It's not like numbers to add to, but it's just an
Scent of a
intimacy.
rose.
Hmm?
Scent of a rose.
Yeah,
The scent of a rose.
yeah, sort of like that, but an intimation. There's like an intimation, so you can see, let's say, every wind that blows intimates something. Yeah, so while you're experiencing here, and that experience is being used to reinforce a narrative, you're basically undermining that narrative by the intimacy of
Right.
what you feel is moving everything and stuff like that. Yes?
Yes.
Because if you rely on these eyes, as the Course in Miracles says, they see, your vision is wholly independent of these eyes that see the world. So that means there's an intimation here, I feel, that it's like a knowing before all knowing, I had glimpses of it when I was hearing this message. And one of them was, man, I know this before I knew anything. Yeah. And yeah, things like that. Those produce, they don't produce any weight, but their influence is great. Yeah. They're not heavy, but they're very light, but their influence is great, I feel, because they sort of imbue or infuse each moment with a quality that here before this it wasn't seemingly available. Yes, so you were looking and misnaming a lot of things with the hopes of getting that quality when it actually comes out of no quality. Yeah, so yeah.
Like seeing a sunset.
Mhm.
It's like
Yeah.
seeing a sunset. There's no expression. You can't express what you feel when you see it. That's how I can put it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And yet that becomes like if, that becomes the walking stick for the blind, basically. Yeah. Because what we're relying on is blind to that, but that can override what we're relying on. Yes. Yeah, for sure. So, yeah. I wouldn't, nothing ever really piqued an interest in me as much as this, because it's unknowable, it's indescribable. You can't have it, you can't get it, you can't lose it. Its whole quality is completely different than anything I've ever touched, felt, tasted, smelled, or whatever. Yeah. So I was curious, and that curiosity still is strong. Yeah. Because, yeah, I mean, you can see some beautiful vistas all day.
Yes. You
All
can.
day. I don't have much pressure on me as an action figure.
And that's
And
a
if I
different.
do, I avoid that, I probably pretty much. But so I'm available when I'm doing whatever I'm doing, and it just, in the past, trying to see through that narration, that would have been a peak fucking moment. Maybe one moment like that a year. There's hundreds of them throughout one day. Yeah. So,
That we don't
but there's
recognize
nothing,
like you do. Mhm.
you don't write a blog about it because it can't be captured. Yeah. You can't send someone a map. You can't say, all right, let me draw a picture. It's best just, just be the vehicle of the seeing of it, so to speak. Yeah. Yeah. But after a while, I love when people are new to these ideas because they get so stoked. But after a while, in a way, you don't get stoked anymore. You just, it's a very quiet, uh, awakening, so to speak.
Some of
Yeah.
us are still stoked.
Hmm?
Some of us are still a long time stoked.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You are,
Well,
Mike.
yeah. I'm not getting stoked. I'm stoked. Yes. Yeah. I'm forever stoked.
You got,
Yeah.
by the way, you have two hands up.
Oh, we do? All right. Go ahead.
Okay, Mary.
Forgot we were on a Zoom just then. That was nice.
Hi, Paul. Good to see
Hey.
you. Good to see everyone. Hey, Paul, question. So we're seeing what we're not.
Are we?
Well, that question is sometimes I guess I wonder about, you've talked a lot about sort of that hall of mirrors, that infinite, who's doing the seeing. And I guess the question is, can what I'm not mimic the seeing, or does the seeing happen and then it just gets claimed by what I'm not?
It's the second one.
Okay.
But the seeing is just awareness. It's not like an act of vision. It's seeing. Yeah. It's awareness.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's an awareness of what you're not. Yeah. There's no what you're not. It's the activity that implies it. Yeah. So
Yes.
there's an awareness that there's an activity that applies something you're not. Yeah. Yeah.
And then it gets polluted sort of by this instant.
No, it doesn't get polluted at all. It seems to get polluted.
Mhm.
See, it's all based on seemingly so. Its sense of being real or not is based on us, actually. Yeah. So if you're taking it to be so, it will seem to be so, really so. Yeah. And if you're not, it won't seem to be so.
Mhm.
It doesn't have its own switch. It's not giving itself a meaning. We are, in a way. Yeah.
Mhm. So that sense sometimes that I'll have, it's like, the imposter thing or whatever, the claiming is happening, and that kind of, I'll feel in the system this sort of, oh shit, or whatever. That's just my buying the story.
Well, yeah, all right, let's say there's something going on and then there's a reaction, oh shit. That's also part of what was going on. That's not like an objective observer going, oh shit.
Mhm.
You're part
Right.
of you're part of the shit rivering, so to speak. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's the whole point. Whatever arises isn't you. You're never gonna meet you here. It's already you. There's no like getting together and finding out about each other. It's all a fact. Yeah. The fact is being ourselves reality. Yeah. So, I mean, what can you do with that? There's no adding or subtracting from that. It's just that's the assumption or the fact that's being presented. And then the logic of non-duality and its direction, negation, at least in my sense, is all seamless based on the fact that it isn't like there's seeking, and then there's a sought. There's the seeker is the sought. Yeah. Yeah. So there's no two. So the seeker that we think is independent, long lasting, and separate, and then there's a sought that we think obviously not to be ourselves, because why would we be looking for it then? Yeah. That's the negation that non-duality is concerned with, is negating there's a seeker and a sought. No, the seeker is the sought. Yeah. You see how the meaning changes completely? Or as supposedly St. Francis said, who knows? It could have been Francis O'Toole down from this, corner. But what's looking is what you're looking for. They don't use the word who's looking. Yeah? That's already been taken, that's already in place in this story. Who's looking is the dilemma, because who's looking is really a narrative sitting atop what's looking. Yeah. So what's looking, aka who's looking, is what you're looking for. How could that be? If it's the who that I'm looking, but it isn't the who. That's not what you're looking for. That's what you're looking from. It's a mental idea. What you're looking for is what's looking. Yeah. What's looking, which is all of us. Yeah. All of us could be categorized right now as what's looking. Yeah. Yeah. Instead of the separation of who's looking and put into each square, basically the larger context of the square is what's looking. And what's looking is what you, as the small square, are looking for. Yeah. Why is that not working? Because you are what's looking. That's the premise of non-duality. Yeah. You are what's looking. So that's why you looking for it doesn't work, because you, that thing that says it's looking for it, is what's looking at the moment. Yeah. So when that little equation, which is applied all day, yeah, is questioned, and you negate the logic of it, yeah, there you go. Now the what's looking is the dominant thing, not the who's looking for its objectification of this idea of what's looking, but the what's looking is the interest. Yes? Yeah. And then there's a loss of interest in the who's looking, and it's definitely a loss of interest in the sought, because you are the sought.
I guess I just get caught in that, or I don't, I mean, seemingly, get caught in that, can what I'm not be so clever that it can mimic awareness?
No, it can just claim it and say it's the one who's aware. Really.
Okay, exactly. Yes, thank you.
No, like the Course in Miracles, you're a big Course in Miracle person, whatever that means. I'm a big Course in Miracles. I used to always get weird when it said a big shoe sale. I was thinking, are they all big shoes, or is it a lot of shoes sale? Yeah, so
Like the big book in AA. Everything's
you're
big.
big into the Course in Miracles, let's say. And they say that whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first 7 lessons lead to, I see only the past. So that which is narrating the story doesn't see shit. Yeah. It narrates, it has a narration that it's the seer, but there's no seeing involved in that. Yeah. Read the Course. It says follow what they say, the first 6 lessons. I'm I forgot the first one, but the second one, you and I give everything all the meaning it has. Everything is meaningless. We give it all the meaning it has. And then the answer to all those perceptual little conundrums is lesson 7. The reason why all these first things are happening is you see only the past,
Mhm.
and there is none. So basically, you're blind.
Mhm.
In other words, when we're seeing something now, it's related to a past seeing. Yes? There's a comparison going on. That past is all fucking made up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're not seeing anything. That's why the who's looking is a form of blindness to the what's seeing. Yeah.
Mhm.
And if you really want to get down to it, the seeing is awareness, and then the seeing subjected through the lens of time is a form of looking. And where the form of looking we've been taken to be true is self-centeredness, yes? We're basically seeing everything as it pertains to this one object that says it's the big subject, yeah, Paul. So as the brain collates all this shit going on, it interprets everything to the body. And that body is called Mary or Paul. And how that body sees, it doesn't. It blinds. It has a self-centered form of seeing, which is not seeing. Yeah, it's the way of looking. And how you look at things is how they compare to other things. Are you seeing anything?
Mhm.
No. So yeah, there you go.
Well, regardless of all of these little machinations that go on, I just love what you say about like the fruit. I mean,
Yeah.
the fruit is like, I'm so much calmer and lighter,
Well,
traveling
you had a
lighter.
lot of weight on yourself because you thought you had to jump higher than your legs can jump, honey.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
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 We're not all Olympians. We're like in the Special Olympics. Yeah. What we're going to be
Yeah.
demanded of is based on our conditions, not a fucking lofty conceptual idea.
Mm.
Yeah. And then accepting the limitations of what you're not allows it to be very, very useful. It does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But as long as you think, you have an innate calling to a higher ground, yeah, and you're supposed to do whatever, to me, that's selfing in all its glory. I
Mhm.
mean, I haven't seen selfing get more whipped up and more righteous than with spiritual seeking. I haven't. Yeah, it whips up a brand of selfing that's pretty slick. Yeah, it's got robes. It got a lot of people believing. It's got a lot of qualities that it's mimicking. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So you've somehow or another, by watching you in the Zoom, you got relieved a lot of this little. I felt it was like, like in drug addiction, we used to call like heroin addiction, like having a monkey on your back, right?
Mm.
It's a chemical. You have to have it, or you're going to go through terrible withdrawals. And who the fuck wants to go through that? So you have to keep feeding that monkey. Yeah. And so it's basically no fun. You're not even getting high. It's maintenance. So there was a monkey on you in a way, and uh, you've gotten permission to let it jump off. You don't need the fucker. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. You're
Mhm.
not going to get it, Mary. Yeah. That's the great
Yes,
news.
I hear you, Paul. I hear you. Hmm.
Yeah, let's give it up. Let's give up the freaking search,
Mhm.
please. Or at least see you're not that which won't give it up. Because that's even the easier way.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
even giving up is too much of a request for it. Yeah,
Mhm.
you just gotta see you're not it. Because
Well,
if you include it, it adds a lot of miles and time and yeah,
well,
yeah.
it's like really step 3, right? It's just giving up. It's just the giving up, and in a level of surrender that's just, I don't know, more. It's just a total giving up the ghost. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's grace.
So
It's
we
grace.
can't
It's just
do
grace.
that, but it can happen. Yeah, but we can't do it.
Yeah,
Yeah. See, that which is going to be abandoned cannot abandon itself. As we say in recovery, you abandon self. Yeah. Self cannot abandon self, but we can abandon self. It's sort of like when we were driving around, when I used to live in the city here, San Francisco, you know, just a bunch of drug addicts, and we'd have a beat up car and we'd ram it into a tree and we would abandon the car because they didn't, back then, they didn't have all the computers for DMV. Basically, they couldn't follow who, we didn't even have a license really. So and then we'd walk away and we successfully abandoned the car because we're not the car. Yeah. Mary cannot abandon Mary. That would just be more Mary. Seriously. Yeah. But when you see quote unquote Mary as other, there is the possibility of abandoning that. And what does that look like? Probably not, being perched on a high cliff with the wind blowing your lovely hair and having your dark day of the soul. Yeah. No, it's probably going to not look like that at all. Yeah. It's just going to be a loss of interest in Mary. And then there'll be a relief that will leak in, and that which is perching there and narrating and opining about what's happening is in us isn't probably going to really give much credit to that relief, but you'll feel it. Yeah, the thief,
yes.
it'll be like a thief in the night. It's in there. Yeah, and then Mary drops a lot of luggage, and instead of believing you had to have all that luggage to get to where you want to go, you realize you're here now and there's no need for all that luggage. Yes, this is it, as Kenny Loggins so wonderfully said. This is it. Make no mistake who you are. I changed the words, I think. This is it. Yes.
Well, it took seeing you for a year and a half or whatever, Paul, to just
That's a
finally
pretty good
see it.
deal. Shit.
A totally good deal.
Yeah.
So
There you
grateful.
go. Yeah, I would say that's one of the better deals on the market.
You're
Year
pretty
and a
cheap.
half of Zooms. Jeez, fuck.
Yeah,
Sign-
you're not that expensive. You're not like
No,
no, you're pretty cheap.
don't give
Cheap
me
date.
any ideas. Please, don't give me any ideas. Keep me dumb. Yes.
Oh, thank
What
you,
am I
sir.
doing this for? No. You cannot believe it was a thing when we were talking about putting this website together. Yeah. Years ago. Send bitch slap. The first few attempts we did it, the only people who knew how to do it were young people, and we were all in recovery, and they all went out. So we never got the website done for a
Right.
couple of years. Finally, we got someone who was a little more sober, so to speak, and we got the website. And my friends were sitting there with me, and they go, "Listen, we should have subscriptions." Yeah, and I said, "No, let's not have any subscriptions. Listen, I'm going to be taken care of, and let's put our money where our mouth is. Let's put it in and see what happens." And I've been taken care of ever since. Ever since. I've never gone without much, you know. I've always, yeah. So talk about the fruit verifying the tree. Fruit has verified the tree. I felt secure in the fact that I'm taken care of, and so it is. Yeah. Yeah. So there you have it. So the point is that head is not going to sign up for the trip. Yeah. It's not going to be there, Mary. It's a loss of interest. It's not changing its interest because you're not going to change its interest. Its interest is to promote this narrative. Yeah. It wants you to be seen in memory as a body, through thought as a body, yeah, through contact with others as a body. Yeah. That's its storyline. Yes. So it's not going to become a service animal. It's not going to become your greatest friend, probably. Yeah, just see it as not you, and you'll lose interest in those activities. And what will happen? You'll gain interest in other possibilities. Yes? Yeah.
Mm.
So, and some beget traveling lighter and some beget traveling heavy. Yeah, you just, and then there's no volition, but you start leaning in that direction, traveling lighter. Yeah, why not?
Mhm.
Yeah. And then the idea of arriving at where you already are now, like who just said they were reading the book, Who Cares? I remember I ran into Ramesh in India and he's talking to me and he was going over this idea of, and he was just making up ways to paint a picture. Yeah. It's what the picture implies. It's not the picture. So he was talking about personal presence and impersonal presence. Yeah. So impersonal presence, let's say that's contextual awareness. Yes. The I am, whatever you want to call it. And then personal, yeah, presence would be feeling like Paul during the day. Okay, so he says, Paul, do you have a place to live when you're in America? I go, yeah, I do. And he says, all right, what do you do for work? I go, I paint houses. So he says, well, when you go to paint a house, you have to keep chanting, I have a home, I have a home, I have a home. No, you know you have the home, yeah? And now you're at work. It's the same thing. You don't need to chant, you're the impersonal presence as the personal presence. Yeah, you don't need to. You don't have to try to remember what you are. You're that. Just forget what you're not. That's what triggers the remembering of what you are by being it. Yeah, you forget what you're not. Yeah, so he was trying to point out that the personal presence is not the personal presence, obviously, even though it's like an appearance of, it's the impersonal context. And it always is the impersonal context. And there's not one moment that it isn't the impersonal context. Yeah. All the while in time appearing as a personal presence. Yes. Yeah. One, they don't run into each other. One is appearance, like in the other. Yes. They're not two things. There's an appearance, and then there's this state or presence or this whatever. You can't describe it, but there's an appearance in it. That would be the dreaming. Yes. Yes. But the dreaming isn't that. It's an aspect of that. It isn't that. Yeah. So no matter what or how or where or how many people are being dreamt, there's always that. Yeah. It's always available at all times, right where we are, with no requirement necessary other than the ones we make up, really. And hopefully you lose interest in those requirements, and then that distant goal becomes an immediate possibility. Yeah. Yeah. And here we are, sharing it every Wednesday, hopefully, and just keep on sharing it. Yeah. Just so I can see Mary travel lighter. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Paul.
Oh,
That
you're
was
welcome.
that was helpful.
You ready for Kenneth? Thanks, Mary.
And am I ready for who?
Kenneth.
Yeah, can you hear
Yeah.
me, Paul? Hi, Paul.
Yes. Hey, Kenneth. How are you?
I've been listening to you for over a year now, and definitely I do feel a lot lighter. I try not to question why,
Great.
but there are times when I do I try to understand the process in a way. And I think you've answered quite a bit of my question when you were talking to when you were answering Mary.
Yes.
Now my question is about the action figure.
Yeah.
The action figure, is that not a cart before the horse? Wouldn't you say that?
Yes.
And when you say dreaming, would you say that it's because we are imputing a lot of from our mind, your imputation is onto the interdependency of what's happening? Is that what you, when you
Can
say
you say that
dreaming?
again? I lost a little of it. Can you say that again, Kenneth? I lost a little of it.
Okay, when you say dreaming, would you
Yes.
say that we call it dreaming because we are imputing from our mind on the events of events that are dependent on many factors?
Yes.
That is why
But
there is only,
all those things can only reach a level of appearance. Yeah.
okay,
Appearing to us. Yeah.
yeah,
And like in Buddhism, they talk about, everything is inherently empty. That's why this is dreaming in a way, because we, as the dreaming, are giving meaning to things that are appearing. Yeah.
okay,
And we give one meaning to them, which is described by this. I'll read it. I say it. I know it from the Course in Miracles. It says, "All right, Kenneth, not me and you, but that which is dreaming." Yeah. So you and I are dreaming this dream. We forget that. Yeah. Now, how does that seemingly occur? The forgetfulness of that fact that we're dreaming. Yeah. I believe it's the act of being identified as the dreamt. Yeah. So now the dreaming has taken itself to be the dreamt. Now, in this condition, as the dreamt, it's now giving everything all the meaning it has, and what it's giving things the meaning to that it can affect me. So now that which I'm dreaming is affecting the dreamt. Yeah. In other words, through the dreaming, something that had no power has been given power to affect that. Yeah. The dreamt. Yes.
okay,
Because if something is inherently empty, how can it impose a feeling on me? I'm the one that's giving everything the meaning it has. Yes. So
yes,
now I've given everything the meaning that it can affect me. Yeah. And this is an 80-year life. Yeah. We get affected all day, don't we? As the physicality, as the emotional state, as the mental activity. Yes. We're constantly being affected by the weather, by this, by the smell in the room, by thoughts of next week, yes? But all of that which is affecting us would be captured in the Course in Miracles called an uncaused effect, yeah? So the effect feels real, but there's no reality that's causing it other than that which is dreaming, yes? This is a pretty good diagram of everyone's day, so to speak. Yeah.
okay,
So that's what I feel in a way is happening on that level of describing, or understanding. Most of the day I have nothing between what's going on. Yeah. I don't understand. I don't have any. I think the understandings have done their job. Yeah. I understood the futility of using one of the yeah, yeah. So yeah, did that help
okay,
any, Kenneth?
yeah,
Yeah. So like the great guy Huang Po said, whatever can be perceived cannot be perceiving. Yeah. So the things we see in this dream are not what's seeing the dream. Yes. Whatever can be perceived can't be perceiving. We're never going to know what's perceiving because we are what's perceiving. Yes.
okay,
Yes. So this isn't about netty, not this, and then there's two things left, and then you get to know the other thing. There's no thing left. There's not like two, a man and a woman standing at the end. There's nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the futility of holding out and holding your breath to the moment you finally know, you're not gonna know. You're gonna be known, yeah, but that which is gonna be known is not going to know. So you might as well just chill out, whatever. I'm gonna wait till later to chill out. I wouldn't. I really wouldn't. I would get on with it. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Kenneth. Thank you for coming here for this whole year. I remember the night you showed up.
Yeah. The other thing is, what I notice is my vision, like or the way I look at things is a lot wider.
Yes.
Or more inclusive, maybe I should say, wider, inclusive, and you're not caught easily by people trying to drag you into a conversation that is unnecessary.
Oh, good. That sounds good. Yeah. That sounds great.
No, and the mind is not as busy as before. That's what I noticed. It's not as like always onto something. It could have more space in some ways.
Yes. Well, yeah, when it's when the master calls the dog off, yeah. So the dog gets called off. Yeah. Yeah. Now to me it tends to, like, hanging that picture in the wall. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or making sure I put the toaster all the way to darkly toasted. Those things, it has these little jobs. It's not like preparing for the transcendence to the upper realms of fucking whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Paul.
That's why, like, sometimes people want to invite me somewhere, but it's really a spiritual based thing. And I feel like I got to tell them I can't go because I have no interest in it. I'm done with wanting to get better, Yeah. I feel like everything, I read this thing today. No, I didn't read it. There's a show I used to listen to, Democracy Now!, which I like. Yeah? This lady, Amy Goodman. And they had this thing about what these companies like Facebook and these algorithms are doing, where basically it's like a drug dealing without any other product. They're tickling that addictive nature of the mental state, yes? And they're feeding it information and then producing effects, just like an addict, like, say, a cocaine addict would have a different look than a heroin addict. First of all, you probably wouldn't see the heroin doing much addict. They'd be leaning against a wall or whatever, nodded out. But there would be different looks, yeah? But you see, there's so much that nature of the agitated state, yeah? The mental state is quite agitated, and it's quite prone to addiction, yeah? It gets addicted to things, never finding fulfillment in any of it, but the fulfillment is the addicting itself, yeah? It generates something that's sweet to that generating, yeah? And now they're doing it through these algorithms and stuff. And they're cutting, you don't go to the corner now. I mean, these huge companies are like the drug dealers of the new age. They're going to be getting you addicted to some kind of their stuff, yeah, that they want to somehow have you buy or go in a certain direction. Sort of like a new way of handling the herd, yeah, just by playing with the mental and the emotional states of people, yeah. It's incredible, to me, because I've seen the mental addiction, like in one of the great Zen theses called Faith Mind. One of the translations says, you can't use activity to produce stillness. That would be activity. The mental state is completely agitated. Yeah. Yeah. And it's prone to addiction. It's not like it's not rare. It's prone to get obsessed. So here we are. The mental addiction's already obsessed with this drug called self. Yeah. Yeah. Way beyond any addiction you could have for a drug, because at least you would know you weren't the drug, yeah, when you were addicted to it. Now we start at taking ourselves to be the drug. It's incredible, eh? Yeah, it's incredible. So, and the weirdest thing is, you would think that, all right, if I got interested in escaping, that would ensure my success. But no, being interested in to getting out of self as a self is more self. Yeah. You see? So the addiction, it's eating its own tail. Yeah. It's just agitated. There's no end to it. Yeah. Yeah. So the whole point is, if that agitation, if there was a loss of interest in it, yes, the agitation obviously will lose momentum. Like you said, your mind isn't as going as crazy, yes? So it starts slowing down. And then the space that it's engulfed in becomes obvious. And now your state here is lighter because your attention is on that which is light. Yeah. Yeah. And instead of fighting each addiction, yeah, you fight the bottom line is that addiction to being a long-lasting, independent, separate entity, a thing, yes? You lose interest in that because that is what is seeking relief from itself that leads to all the other addictions. Most people, if you ask them why they were shooting coke, at one point or the other, they just were trying to get out of themselves, yeah? They wanted to leave Paul, and they were willing to pay any consequence tomorrow just with the hope of leaving Paul now. That's extreme, eh? So this, if you want to look at before and after, or first, and then second, to me, the first addiction is the mental addiction to this idea, yeah, of being a long-lasting, independent, separate entity, and attributing the subjectivity of awareness to that object that you're pictured as. That's the essence of duality. And that's what this message is negating, not denying, because the denying would come from the two-ness. The negating of the two-ness does not come from the two-ness. It comes from what we are. And then from what we are, there's a negation of what we're not, which is this two-ness. Yeah? Yeah. So, you know how many people get in touch with me and stuff, and now one of the big sayings that they're going into these rabbit holes of information. Yeah? They get sucked in, and it's like, to me, it would be like a pile of cocaine. Yeah? That's how I could reference it. I got sucked in, put blankets on the windows, shoot it up as fast as I can, and then come off it when it's run out and go, this is what's happening. Yeah. It's because in what's not so, anything can go. You can make up anything here. Yes? You can make up, the horse in front of the cart in front of the horse. It can be that extreme. Yeah? Anything goes because there's no center, there's no presence. Yeah? We're in a mental movement. There's no breathing a sigh of relief up there. It's on and on and on and on and on. Yeah. So it was interesting to hear this thing because I brought it back to the idea of that mental addiction, to this idea of being Paul. Yeah. Giving name and form to everything. Yeah. Being, the observer and the witness and all this. Yeah. As if we've ever been out of this river of dreaming to observe it and to make a clear observation of it. Yeah. No. The idea that I'm witnessing the dreaming is part of the dreaming. Yeah. There's no getting out of it as it. Yeah. So, yep. Thanks, Kenneth. I hope that wasn't helpful or whatever. Yeah.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Paul.
Kenneth.
Yeah.
And Jenny's up.
Jenny?
Yeah. I think she's still
Oh,
trying.
Jenny. Yes. Come on in, Jenny.
Still muted.
You ready?
Well, I'll click ask to unmute. Let's see if that helps.
That better?
Yes.
There we go.
Oh, okay, thanks. Oh shit, I had so many questions before this. I put my hand up and down, but you know what? The biggest thing for me is, Paul, how could you not feel what you're feeling and believe? I understand intellectually, I feel what you're saying, but I can't, it just won't register because the feeling's too close together. I can't get rid of this smell of the flower with the flower. Like, I can't separate the two.
Yes?
That's it.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I know it wasn't much of a question. It's just I understand everything you say, but I know intellectual is not. It's not.
No, it's just
It's more of the policeman, the thief, going around and catching the tail.
the scent is on the paper with the words. Yeah. The blank paper that carries the words has the scent. That's the message. Yeah. Yeah.
Paper
You
gets
smell.
that, but I can't smell it. You know.
Yeah. You don't need to know it. You are it. Yeah. Yeah. Quite different. The urge to want to know will be seen like the emperor without any clothes. You'll see it. It's not your urge to know. It's a mechanical urge to know. Yeah. It's nothing to do with you. When it gets starved, you really see it. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
starved.
Yes. When you're being, there's no need to know, really, obviously. And so the need to know is naked then, and you recognize it. Yeah. And then let it know something it can know, like the time or shit like that. If you come to these talks, sooner or later, there's a point where you may never ask a question again. Yeah, because something becomes clear. Yeah. And that's that. Now, we don't want everyone to get that right away because then we won't have a Zoom. So we need questions. So just realize you're just making them up anyway, and just let's
I
get on.
get that.
Yeah. Who's doing that typing thing? It's
Oh,
wild.
fucking no, it's my computer. It's just a stupid, it's a fan.
Oh wow, it's writing a report on you as we speak.
Yeah, I get it prints it out later.
Oh, it's funny.
Thank you.
We have the internet company we have here is called Comcast, and when you try to pay your bill on the phone, they say, and you hear this thing, and then they go, and like, what the hell? They have a little, okay. So
That's me. Thank you.
that's what I was hearing. I was waiting for Comcast. There it goes. It's still going. All right, move to the next person. Nice to see you, Jenny. Yeah.
Thanks, Danny. Philip is up.
Philip from Brisbane.
Hey, Paul. Hi, everyone. It's so nice to be here in the day. Usually I'm on Saturday morning, or Sunday morning, actually.
Yes.
I don't really have a question, Paul. I just want to sort of get your comments on what amazes me about this whole thing is that it's all come down to this thing of loss of interest. I mean, who would have thought? You know, it just seems so inconsequential. Yet, for me, it's just it's all I can put it down to. You know, this and the loss of interest. I don't know how it came about. I don't know that if there was a process or anything. There just seems to be this incredible loss of interest, and have taken the wind out of the sails of what I'm not. You know, it hasn't killed it. It's just kind of flattened it. You know, and I always think back to what you said a while back. Say, what more do you want? And it's kind of true. You know, I just say it just seems to arise. You know, say, well, what more do you want? You know, what? It's I'm living in this little cabin on an island, and I don't seem to want to go anywhere, or yet things still happen, but just that loss of interest and the kind of giving up we're talking about before. There's no one giving up. It just seems to give itself up. You know.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know what more to say. It's just incredibly spacious, you know, and but yet I still love coming here. I want more. I seem to want more, but I don't know what it is. I want, you know. That's kind of what I had to say. You know, there's a whole lot of not knowing about what's going on, but it just seems to be okay, you know.
Yeah. Well, you know, when you lose interest in wanting to know what's going on, you're really involved with what's going on.
Yeah. It seems to be.
You are. That's you're so involved in it. You don't want to know what's going on. Well, you said a lot there, bro. Thank you. You know, we have, let's just say here, I see one of these Mercedes-Benz, they're like RVs, yeah, super high end. They've got everything in there, maybe 150,000. And I'm thinking I'd really like to do that, but in fact, I don't want to go camping and driving around. Yeah. So you have this in your head, these old ideas about spirituality, but now you're like, nah. You know what I mean? I'm not really interested in that. Yeah. But it sounds good. Yeah. Oh yeah. I think Amelia and I, we looked at an RV. It was a huge one, like 37 feet or something. I don't know. It was huge. Very nice people that had it, and we were talking inside of it. And I asked them the $1 million question. What's your mileage? How much mileage do you get? 8 to 10 miles. I said, oh, then I came right back to earth. Do I really want to have this huge fucking thing that I have to park that gets 8 miles per gallon or something? You know, no, I don't think so. You see? So before I hitched my wagon to those fucking crazy ideas. Yeah. Now I don't. Yeah. Because those crazy ideas were implying that I was going to go somewhere, that I was going to be a whole lot better where I am. And I have an immunity to that little advertising campaign because I'm okay right now. Yeah. So I haven't bought an RV. I haven't gotten my squirrel jumpsuit, which I'd like to someday. These things because I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
It sounds great. Let's go a 30-day trek into the mountains. I'm not going to do that. Probably, maybe I will, but I don't. It's not looking like it. So,
It reminds
yeah.
me of that Leonard Cohen song, you know, it's come to this, and wasn't it a long way down? It's kind of like it's wow, you know, you were, you know, 5 or 6 years ago, I would have predicted, I would have been striving for something else, but now this has just come to this, you know, it's kind of like it's so amazing.
Great. Yeah, wouldn't it? It would be a drag that if you were, you know, every day you walk through a rose garden and you never smelled one of them. You know, it would seem to be crazy to me because you thought there was a temple on the other end that was much more important. Yeah, I think the temple is the rose garden, so to speak. Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
gorgeous here. So thanks, bro. I'm happy to see you. And it's funny, I've recognized everyone who's when they started. It's very nice to keep seeing us. And yeah, we need more you. We need you more you than you need us, bro. Yeah, this is you and Anu, and everyone makes this Zoom uh, uh, makes it happen. So yeah.
My gratitude and appreciation. I know if I pointed it at you, I say you're amazing, Paul, and I know you say, well, it's not me, it's the message, but it's just, oh, wow, it's just no one else doing this like you. You know, it's just I don't know why, but it's just that idea of seeing it through what you're not is just, wow, that's just it, you know.
Yeah, well, there was a lot of people. I was really moved by Wei Wu Wei. Yeah, this old Irish dude that wrote underneath that pseudonym because he presented this idea of negation and then would use historical from a lot of old Buddhist stuff, and it just fit perfectly for me. Yeah, because I was starting to see the same direction was being set in non-duality where there's no direction. Yeah, the same way I would see everything else, it was starting to see non-duality, and then the negation is sort of what cuts that at the knees, you know. Yeah, so my credit is to him, and he's a lot of very conceptual. It's difficult to slog through, but it triggered a lot of effects in me. And yeah, there's other people that are simpler, but he was the clearest with about negation, I think. And they all are. Nisargadatta, everyone. They're all because it's obvious if being ourselves reality is the fact, then everything else isn't. Really. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's best to start seeing what isn't, then look for what is, because we are that what is. Yeah. So yeah, thanks, bro. I'm happy
Thank you.
it's working out.
Thanks, Philip. Anybody else want to raise their hands? And while we wait, I'll throw out how I'm very appreciative of how this dancing around nothing still allows the community around it, right? Like I used to be desperate about finding the right religion or making AA work, but that was, you know, the desperation to think that's what I needed to make work didn't let me have it. So to be presented with this is just beautiful. I mean, obviously I've found for years.
It's great, Mike, and you do a lot of service for this, and
Naturally, yeah. I mean, just yeah, without second thought
Yes.
or first
So,
thought.
yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, some of us have had enough of that heaviness, yeah? We just didn't, we were trying to lift it with heaviness. So that's what needed to become clear, yeah? It's the wanting to get out of heaviness, which is the heaviness in a sense. And how am I going to stop wanting to get out of heaviness? You're not. But you're going to see you're not that wants to get out of heaviness. Hallelujah. Yeah. End of story. You don't have to go back any more pages. That's the whole story. In the seeing of what you're not is the sense of what you are. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. Anyone else, Mike?
No hands. I don't see anybody raising.
Well, we can say goodbye then. Yeah. Let's see who. Let's say hello to everyone. Mike. I'm always in deep gratitude for Mike. Yes. We've got Gail. Nice to see you, Gail. Yes, Gail just perked up. There she goes. Gail. Yes. We got the dynamic duo in the Big Island, Judith and Carrie there. Nice to see you both. Yes. Yes. We've got plans. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Yes. Good. We got Jenny. There she is. Thank you, Jenny, for Anu. I love that name, Anu, really. You know, if you're having a hard day, you could just go Anu. You know, be sort of like the Serenity Prayer. Anu. Okay, wow. Yeah. All right, Philip, nice. I'm happy to see you enjoying this moment. Not for any future moment, but for the moment itself. Yes. Z, my main man.
Hey,
Yes.
Paul,
Nice to see you, brother.
as usual, good to see you.
I'll talk to you tomorrow, hopefully.
Sounds good.
Yes. We got Catherine. Nice to see you, Catherine. Yes. We got Linda. Linda. Yeah, there she is. Now, this is very profound because when Linda was first coming, there was 30 books in that bookshelf. Now there's none.
This is called traveling lighter.
That's a very telling description right there.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you.
Ah, very nice. And there's Sanda, our only connection to the motherland, to India. Sanda, can you hear us? No, she seems to be frozen. We got William H. How you doing, William, today? Yeah, that's great. Good. Well, here they are when East meets West. We got Alex and Jacob, two of my favorite characters, in one square. Wow. That's like, remember sometimes in Cracker Jacks, PK would know, you'd find two prizes. Usually they only had one, but every once in a while someone would make a mistake and you'd go and there'd be two things. There you go. You're my cracker box of Zoom. Yes.
A lucky day.
Yes. Two for the price of none, really. So PK, my homeboy from Long Island. You'd have to really know what Long Island's like, really. You can't, it's sort of like being on that shipwreck, lifeboat and then having that connection with the other person. That's like growing up in Long Island with another person who grew up in Long Island. There's a certain affinity. It's hard to describe. My friend just called me from Baldwin. He lives out here, but my friend Baldwin Long Island today. Yeah.
Wow.
All right, Kenneth. Nice to see you, Kenneth, from Toronto. No, Vancouver. Yes. Robert from Kiwiville. Nice to see you, Robert. Yeah. Gio, our Brazilian little Huang Po. There he is. Yeah. We got John W., a person I'll be seeing again down in the lovely world of Oz. Yes. Yes. Johannes, iPad, he skipped, but I'm looking at the corner of his room. That's cool. Stacy, one of my first characters that we met in the tumultuous beginnings of Zen Bitch Slap. Stacy came up to where I lived. That was good. Yes.
Do that again. Are you in person meetings too?
Yeah, we're doing every Saturday at the church in Marin City. Yeah, it's working out. We'll be away November 11th to the 15th in Moab, Utah. We're gonna do the Zoom though that on the 13th. Yeah, we'll do the Zoom from there, but we're going to have some live talks there.
You'll just miss Thursday before, right?
What? Yeah, I'll
You're
miss that Thursday recovery one before that. Yeah, because we'll be going to the airport probably. I think so. We better anyway, because it would work. All right, let's go back to, there's JP from Vietnam. Nice to see you, bro. Alan, thank you for all the support, Alan. Sue K. We got Julian R. We got, Susanna W. That's an old friend of mine. Karen Wilkins. Oh, there's Julian Rose. I just got a picture of him. He's appearing and disappearing. There he is. Let's see, who else? We've got a couple of phone numbers. I will not call you, I promise. Phone numbers, and yeah. Thanks, everyone. Lovely night. I hope,
Thank you very much.
thank you, yeah.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Mike.
Mike.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Yeah.
Paul.
Thanks,
Yes.
Mike.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Mike.
See you guys. Bye-bye.